Hi, everybody. This is Coach Allison, and I've got your week 13 Defy Aging to review with you. So, this week we're going to be working in our own space, um, counting our own reps, and we have a max time limit of 24 minutes to complete this routine. And if we don't get the whole thing done, that's just fine. So, what we have is kind of supersets again, actually. But nothing is timed, so you are going to be able to go at your own pace doing this. So no listening to countdowns or listening for that interval beep over the intercom. So everything is 8 reps. So that is the only rep number you have to keep in mind this week. So that's kind of nice. And because everything is only 8 reps, we want you to focus on going a little bit heavier on your weight selections this week for things that have weights. Not everything does. Some things are body weight only. So yes, that lower rep count is a great opportunity to try that next weight up and again, go a little heavier on some of the things than maybe you would if we were doing 12 to 15 reps or doing things for, 30 to 40 to 50 seconds of intervals. So keep that in mind when you're selecting your weights. So yes, everything is 8 reps and everything that you're doing is for 4 sets. So it'll make a little bit more sense when I'm explaining the exercises in just a moment. So I'll kind of explain how you're going to put the exercises together at that time. And of course, we have a little team builder at the end. So that being said, let's get to our demonstrations. Okay, so the way we're going to do the in your own space routine this week is, yes, there are kind of 3 supersets, and you go through them at your own pace. You can even start, not everybody has to start with the same one. And actually, considering one of them has, you have to use 2 kettlebells for one of them, we might not want everyone to start with the same superset, so we have enough kettlebells to go around. So that being said, with whatever superset you are starting with, you do 4 rounds of it. And everything, like I said in the intro, everything is 8 reps. So yeah, you do 8 reps of exercise 1, 8 reps of exercise 2, and then go back to exercise 1, 8 reps, exercise 2, 8 reps. You do that 4 times, and then you are concluded with that superset. You move on to the next superset, and so on and so forth. So let's go over the first one. It's a single leg glute thrust. And for, of course, all of the floor exercises, I will show you a standing alternative. So for a single leg glute thrust, it's going to be a hamstring and a glute exercise. And this will be 8 reps on each leg, of course. So one leg is staying bent, foot on the floor. Other leg is just up in the air, just to get it off the floor. And we lift our hips and our butt off the floor and come back down. And you'll do that for 8 reps. Now, with this leg that's up in the air, though, you want to make sure you're not doing a bunch of movement like this. Some people tend to inadvertently use that as momentum and thrust like this. So we want to make sure you're not doing that. You can rest that foot on the knee, however, if you'd like to. If you're noticing that you're lifting and lowering your leg too much, you can place your leg on the knee like this to avoid that happening. So 8 reps on each side. And if you are staying off the floor, you're going to turn that into a single leg deadlift. It's kind of a trickier movement, but it does target the same muscles, the same area. So that's why it's a good alternative. You can use something for balance, you can put your hand on a wall. I'm not going to, just because so I can be closer to you. You're going to balance on one leg and reach. You might want a weight for this. So I'm going to grab a kettlebell. Because again, we are only going for 8 reps, so it's a good idea to have a little bit of resistance. We're going to balance on one leg, weight in your opposite hand, and you're going to reach that kettlebell towards the floor. Remember, it's a deadlift. So if we were doing a standard double leg deadlift, it would look like this. So you hinge at your hip, that other leg is going to go back. It's very important you're keeping a nice flat back. So we want to make sure we're not rounding like this. And again, if you had like a wall here, you can keep your other hand on the wall. Keep a soft bend in that knee. Okay, so we're not locking that leg out straight. It's a lot of balance, so I do recommend using something for balance so you're not worried about tipping all around on that one. The alternative, like I said, does look very different, but it is the same muscle group. Anyway, so you'll do 8 on each side of that. The second exercise for this superset is push-ups. Nothing fancy, but it's a good week to do the push-ups because it is only 8. So we don't have to worry about doing them for 45 or 60 seconds. I think we all know push-ups. Can definitely do, if you're on the floor, you can do knees. But I do want to reiterate that if you're doing a knee push-up, watch my hips and my torso here. Those two areas of your body do have to lower towards the floor as well. What I mean by that is if you are doing a floor push-up and you're on your knees, it's not just the head that goes down to the floor like that. That's not a push-up, and that's actually going to create some problems for your shoulders. So again, this is not a push-up with your butt staying up in the air. This is your hips and your stomach need to go down to the floor too, okay? You can definitely do that. Same thing if you're on your toes. If you're on your toes, this isn't a push-up, but your hips and your stomach have to go down too. You can definitely, I don't have an incline option around me on their videos, but you can do that on an incline, on a bench or a box. Or of course, you can do it on a wall like this. That is absolutely fine. So you work to your level to get those push-ups done however you need, but that is our first superset. So we have the single leg glute thrust or a single leg deadlift and the push-ups. Okay, superset 2 is a single arm overhead press. We do overhead presses a lot. It is one of the best exercises for strengthening on your shoulders that you can do. It's very isolated, but single arm we don't do all that often. Anyways, so 8 on each side. That's the first one. Grab your weight, palm forward. I just like to stand with my feet parallel, hand on the hip here, or you can kind of put arm out for if you ever have a nice challenging weight here, you might need your arm kind of out for leverage on the other side, whatever's comfortable. And this is a standard overhead press, so that's pretty straightforward. 8 on each arm. Split squat, however, is a little bit different. It is essentially like the body position of a walking lunge. So let me take a big step forward, down, like I was gonna do our walking lunges. You just don't do the walking forward part. So you get that split stance and you go down and up. You just keep this body position. So it's essentially, you see how I meant, it's kind of like this part of the lunge, but you don't do any walking forward or anything like that. So you just keep this part of the lunge. It's very challenging because you have to keep that balance. So if you do need to go near a wall or a rack to put your hand on for balance, go right ahead. That's totally fine. Just want to make sure that you don't turn that back foot out. We talk about that all the time with this body position because we don't want that ankle turn, we don't want that knee turn, and we don't want that hip to be out of alignment. So keep that back foot straight. Okay, keep the chest up tall. Kind of a little tiny forward lean like this, but nothing this excessive. Okay, so for the most part, keep that chest up tall. It's going to be 8 on each side. So you do 8 with the legs in one position, switch, and then 8 on the other side. Okay, that's the split squat. All right, superset 3, the third one, last one. The first one is a kettlebell weighted march in place. Okay, so you will need 2 heavy kettlebells for this. And this is the one I was saying that not everyone should maybe start at the same superset. So some people are using the kettlebells while other people are doing a different superset. So we don't all need these kettlebells at the same time. You're going to hold 2 kettlebells down at your side. Think of it like starting a farmer's carry. So do your check with your upper body, shoulders down and back. So do a check with your shoulders. Take them up, bring them back, drop them down. Okay, that's your starting position with your arms and with the kettlebells in your hands. And then we're going to do a controlled march in place. I know we did this march in place recently with the goblet hold, but now we have 2 kettlebells down at our side. So you'll do 8 on each leg here. 1, 2, 2, and that's how you'll count that. You're no slow and controlled. We're not trying to go for speed. We want to go for height as well. So go as high as you can. So that's the kettlebell march in place. And then a single arm chest press. Let me clear something here. Sorry. Very similar to the single arm shoulder press. We're just going to be on the floor. The single arm chest press. Got weight. What's the best angle to see what I'm doing? I don't know. I never know. Weight in one hand. So a good arm position is start with your arms straight out to the side, elbow, but then dip it down just a little bit. That's a good arm position. And then press up and then come all the way back down to the floor. Don't stop it short, like right here. Do bring it all the way back down to the floor between each rep. Okay. You'll do your 8 on one side, switch sides, and 8 on the other. Okay. Sounds good. Anyone who can't get onto the floor, we'll have the coaches wheel in an incline bench. So you'll be at a slight incline. That way you can sit, recline back, and you do that exact same exercise on a bench. So you still use the dumbbells. Everything will be the same, but no worries about getting up and down or down and up from the floor. That is our third and final superset. Okay, and the team builder, last but not least, we're going to do a shuffle relay. And that's going to be your coach can decide how they want to run this, whether it's in teams competing or everyone working together, not competing. That's going to be up to them. But it's going to be a shuffle. You're going to shuffle down to the end of the turf space, do 10 squats, and then shuffle back. So a shuffle, I have a very tiny space because there is something happening over here. Very tiny space to show shuffles, but kind of in a quarter squat with your hips hinged backwards. That's your body position. And you kind of do that shuffle with your feet coming together. Okay, so that's our shuffle. When you get to the end of your turf space, we're going to do 10 body weight squats as quickly as you can. Shuffle back, and then your turn is done. The next person's going to go again. Your coach might have you do this 2 teams competing to see who can finish first. They might have you seeing who, go through it twice and time it, and hopefully you can beat your time on the second round. I'm not sure how they're going to have you do it. It's going to be fun, cheer each other on, and that is our team builder. Okay, and that is week 13. Hope everybody enjoys this routine and these exercises. See you back next week.